Hi, my name is Alexander Smith. Today is June 28, 2013. I am doing my informative speech for public speaking, and my informative speech topic is the offensive and defensive strategies of Ultimate Frisbee. I'm sure for any of you that have walked across Bowman, you've seen Ultimate being played more times than not when you're going through that area. It's become a big favorite in Clemson and all around the nation. And the past 40 plus years, it's evolved from being a game that was developed by some high schoolers in New Jersey to now recently having a deal to be broadcasted on ESPN. USA Today has listed it as being played popularly in 42 countries and by over 16,000 people, which are all registered with USA Ultimate, the USA's ultimate governing body. I'm going to go over first some of the just general rules. Ultimate Frisbee is played by 7 people on each team. You play on a regular field about the same size as a football or soccer field, and the goal is to, as in most games, score more points than the other team. What you would do in this situation is to score a point, you must be in possession of the disc in the other team's end zone, similar to, say, football. The catch is once you have the disc in your hands, you can only pivot on one foot. You can no longer move. Similar to when you pick up your dribble in basketball. Teams will then, once you have the disc, pass to your other team members whose sole job is to just get open and so they can possess the disc and slowly move it up the field to score a point. Defenders on the other 7 people will be doing the opposite, trying to keep you from doing that. And then, of course, after doing this so many times, you'll score so many points, and that will be the end of the game. These all can be found in the Ultimate Handbook online. Alright, the first thing I'll go over is an offensive strategy called the vertical stack. It looks like this. Draw it out for you. Where those 7 ugly X's are your offensive players. Here's your Frisbee. In this offense, these are your handlers. They're the ones that are going to be handling the disc or dominantly possessing and throwing. Here is your cutters. Their job is to be getting open. In the vertical stack, you're usually only going to do about 1 of 2 cuts. The top of the stack, he's the one that always has initiated cut, and it's just an isolation situation where he can either go out or in, depending on which way he thinks he can beat his defender. The handler's role is if he thinks he has an open shot at that person, throw the disc either deep or short. If that person cannot get open, so they're cutting in, nothing there, their job's to cycle back in, the rest of the stack slowly shifts up, and it just goes as one big revolving cycle. Let's say you're reaching the end of your 10 seconds, which I forgot to mention. When you have the disc, you're 10 seconds before you can throw it. If you are reaching the end of that 10 seconds, the handler doesn't want to just force a big throw upfield or force something there they can't throw. That's when this player comes in. He's your dump. His job is to either get open this way, whatever way, and just form a quick short pass where he gets the disc. Now he's in possession. The other handler move out the way or set him up for another throw. Now, you're not gaining field position when you're doing this, or if you are, it's very little. But you have a new 10 seconds to play with, and it really can benefit your team. And this offense is just straightforward. It just cycles and keeps going up the field, dumps and in and out passes. And eventually, you score, ideally. Another popular formation is the horizontal stack, or H stack. It sits like this. ideally, this person would have the disc. These are your three handlers. They are going to work with these guys that are about 15 yards upfield and try to move the disc towards the end zone, of course. These three will work together along with these, whether it's just doing swing passes like this, and to trying to create something that can go up line, of course this way, several different handler cuts, and then these guys will also work as a dump, as described before, whenever your stall is getting high. Now for these guys, it's a little more complicated, but also straightforward. Your job is, of course, still to get open, but now you have more people next to you and you're not being isolated. Your job is to work with them and not cut off their passing lanes. They almost want to work like pistons. If this one's up, you want him down and him up, because that keeps him with space. These two would have space as they have the whole top of the field to play with. So, similar to... If this is done properly, of course, now this player has this half of the field, this half of the field. They got a whole half, they got a whole half. And you just alternate running like pistons. And of course, you can switch, move in, move out. And ideally, this one, I mean, you're just swinging it around. It's a lot more active, where with the burst sack, just isolation, move, pass, look off, pass, just over and over again. This one, disc is going to be going everywhere instead of just in one or two directions. It's a little more complicated, but it can really open up the field, and a lot of teams can benefit, especially if they have a lot of speed and good big throws. And now that offense is covered, I'll move on to defense. I can get this thing clean. Alright, I'll use the vertical stack as an example. Put this one down this time, it's a little more complicated to draw. Alright, here we go. We got some X's and O's now, not just X's. And here, your X is the players on offense. Your O is the player on defense. Defender's job, force the turnover via either intercepting the pass, knocking it to the ground, forcing the other team to throw it out of bounds. Any way that you can gain possession of the disc and prevent them from scoring. The job of this player, he is the mark. When this handler has the disc, his job is to try and prevent him from throwing the disc. Now, as described by Windsor Ultimate, you'll see that a lot of teams like to employ a force. The benefit of this is you can eliminate one side of the field. With this right here, this player's role is purely to cut off passes from this side of the field. They would like to give them anything this way, but if they give a pass that way, it's ultimately seen as a failure. Now, of course, you're thinking like, well, you're giving them off so many easy passes. What's the benefit of that? Well, this allows these defenders, they can all line up on the right side of their man and have no worry of getting beat this way. They can poach off, come this way, and also not have to worry about just moving back to the left side of the field. So as you can see, let's say he gets to throw this way. You're also having your players poached off, and this your X guy makes a cut this way. O's ready. He knows there's only one way that disc is getting there, and he can just stay that direction. Ultimately, you will eventually, even if they are completing passes, you will be shrinking their side of the field because they're only going in one direction. And eventually, you're going to have them on this sideline here, and they can only make passes. This is a great defense. It's used pretty much by everyone. at least one point. You'll see a few zone defenses, but those are used for specialties, and it's a little more advanced. Pretty much, these are your regular offenses and defenses that are going to be used for any basic and even up to more advanced levels of Ultimate. They, of course, could be tweaked to favor a certain player or a certain type of team that may have certain advantages, such as extra speed, extra height. But these are the two offenses and one defense you're going to see more than in any other situation whenever you're out at a tournament, or even just a regular pickup game. And employ them, and you could benefit and possibly win some games.